let's get this recorded right. So it's exactly 8 p.m. now. Right. I will upload the link to the recording after the session, probably in about an hour or two, because I just need to make sure that the sound is okay. But if at any point you can't hear me, just type something in the chat box, okay? Right, so this is the PDF that I believe everyone should have. I posted it in the Telegram channel. And we're just going to be going over that. Okay, so understanding strategy, trading technique, and there are a few strategies that I've put in the PDF itself. Okay, let me just get rid of this over here. Okay, and I have been getting a few questions about how to actually use this and which strategy to apply to what sort of market. Okay, so hopefully we'll take our time, take a couple of sessions to make sure that we get through everything. But today we're probably going to start off with a bit of strategy one. But before we do that, we just need to actually make sure that we are all on the same page. Okay. Now, what is a strategy? Right. First step in learning a new strategy is to firstly understand what a strategy is and what it's not. So you can understand, obviously, the limitations it has and what it can actually do. Okay. So it's basically a set of criteria that need to be met for a trader to make a decision about buying or selling. Okay. Now, we can also add to that things like risk control and the way in which you look at the fundamental, right? But for now, we're just going to take strategy as just a set of criteria to decide when to get into a trade, buy or sell. Okay. Now, the description just basically talks about entry. Okay. But I found, well, with my experience, that the exit is much more important than the actual entry itself. Right? Knowing when to get out of a market is as crucially important, if not more, than knowing where to get in. Right? So it's a very difficult thing to do because, especially when you are in a bit of profit. So let's say, for example, you need to constantly be making a decision about whether to stay in the trade to make more money, right? Or to get out of the trade and take whatever profits that you've already made. Right? So that is the more tricky part, right? The entry part is less difficult, all right? I do agree that it is difficult. But the exit part, where you get out of the trade, that is much more critical. That is much more critical to me because that's what sets people apart in terms of consistent profit, because we can both have the same trade entry rules. Okay, you enter a trade and the trade goes in your direction. Okay, well, in our direction, the both of us. And what happens is at plus 10 pips, I take my profits because I get nervous. And you wait till you get $100 worth of profit. Right. We both had the same entry, but had different outcomes because of where we decided to exit. Right. So understanding your strategy means you know where to actually trade it, when to trade it, and how to then trade it. Okay. So the where part would actually mean the type of trend or the type of cycle, which cycle you're actually in, because the market can move sideways, it can move up, or it can move down. Okay, some strategies work well when they're ranging and the market is ranging. Some strategies work well in trending markets. Okay, so also need to know when to trade it and obviously how to then apply that trading strategy, whatever it may be. Okay, the reason is that not all strategies work all the time, right? Contrary to what you may believe, there are good and bad times for you to actually trade a certain type of strategy. There is no single strategy that will consistently make money every single day, every single hour, every single week, every single month. Okay. You might have even on a scalping short-term strategy that has 90% or 95 or 99% win ratio. There is a possibility that you're going to have a losing day, okay? Because on that particular day, the markets weren't behaving the way optimally, let's say, if that's even allowed for me to say, but they weren't behaving the way that the strategy would have liked it to be. So you might be trading a short-term sideways ranging market, and the market all of a sudden breaks out. You might have news about corona outbreak somewhere in, let's say, a US state, okay, state hospital or whatever the case may be. 200 people got infected there. That typically will affect the market in some sense. Right? So, and if you're in the market, that will mean that the markets become unfavorable for your strategy at that time. Okay. Now, the different types of strategies that we're going to be taking a look at, okay, are usually categorized as automated, okay, as well as discretionary. Sometimes I'm not going to be reading off this, guys, so if you don't follow, just make sure that you go through the recording with the ebook next. Okay, so automated trading systems refer to a strategy that has been computerized to either generate trading signals or place trading signals using predefined criteria. Okay, so that basically means either where you get into a trade is, or where you get into a trade and where you get out is automated. That means you don't do anything, right? So there are 100% automated systems where you place the trading system, it buys, it exits, right? It picks the lot size. That is fully automated. Okay. And you have semi-automated. Okay, not quite sure, I can't remember if I have the semi-automated side here, but semi-automated trading systems will basically it chooses the entry, you might choose the exit, or you might choose the risk you put on the trade, right? Or you might choose to stop trading for that particular thing. Okay. All right. Okay. Does that make sense, guys? So what we need to understand then is that a large percentage of institutions rather, use trading algorithms, right? Sometimes they're called trading algorithms or trading systems. Okay. In a sense, it makes trading simplified for them. Okay. It might replace a trader who was going to cost a lot of money. Let's say you have a trading system, you develop that trading system once off, you spend 20,000 Rand or $20,000, whatever the case may be, developing that system. And that trading system works 24 hours a day. Okay. Doesn't sleep, doesn't eat. You don't have to pay it anything. And as opposed to a manual trader who makes trading decisions, obviously they need to sleep, they need to take breaks, you need to pay them money each and every single month. And so I think that's just one of the things that became more enticing for large institutions that use trading systems or trading algorithms. Right. Right. So, I mean, when it comes to automated trading systems for retail traders, there are quite a few, not a lot, that do outperform the market. Okay. Reason being, obviously, retail traders don't necessarily have the type of resources that an institution actually would, okay, or the capital that they would need to make the trading system worthwhile. Because you might be in a situation where you need to make, let's say, $100 a week, okay, and you only have $100 in your trading account, or you want to make $1,000 every month and you only have $100, for example. Now, a trading system that's going to generate for you a 10% or 15% return won't be of much use to you. Okay. Now, this is where discretionary trading actually kicks in for most guys, where 100% of the trading decisions, sorry about that, trading decisions are actually made by the trader. Okay. So, with that being said, you take responsibility for each and every single trade. Okay. Right. Now, that is what most guys here will choose to do. Right. So, when it comes to discretionary trading, you need to learn a trading strategy, and you need to be able to apply that trading strategy effectively. Okay. Now, one of the more common questions, obviously, that I do get on a not every day, okay, but it pops up every now and then, is am I supposed to be trading using automated system or just my own discretionary trading where I make my own trading decisions? There are advantages to both, right? But I always say you need to have a bit of experience with both in order for you to know which one is better for you. Okay. Now, there are basically a few advantages to both, as I've mentioned before, but there really isn't a better way for the general population. So there's no clean-cut way that you're going to say, all right, everyone should be trading using automated trading systems, and that's it. Or everyone should be a discretionary trader. It really does need to be sort of like retrofitted to whatever person that you are talking to at the time. Okay, because from what I've found, some of the most successful traders of our time struggled with one way of trading. Okay, so they were trying to trade um, in, let's say, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, right? So the flow of the exchange, and they were trying to become day traders. Right? That approach didn't actually work for them, and they went into an office and started developing trading systems, and their performance actually increased. Or it worked the other way around. The guy was getting, um, let's say, subpar performance when it comes to trading on the PC using automated systems. And when they decided, like, okay, now I'm just going to do things by myself, right, 100% discretionary, then they found a lot more success doing that. So therefore, the way a trader decides to trade will mean a lot to his or her success. Okay, you can't really just copy and paste whatever someone else does, right? It sort of like has to be something that is a bit more, um, I can say, personal. Right? So a trader basically has a choice for how they trade, and that is called the trading approach, right? And a number of things may influence that decision. One of them could be time, capital, or personality type, right? There are a number of factors that can lead a trader to a specific way of trading. However, obviously the objective is and always will be profits at the end of the day. Okay. So if you want to make money, um, you need to pick obviously one approach and just make sure that approach actually works for you. So typically the first approach, which tends to be where most retail traders start, is day trading, which means um, you are trading very small increment price changes, right? So you're taking advantage, let's say 1 pip, 2 pip, 20 pips, 30 pips on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. This requires high energy, right? This requires an incredible amount of concentration. And I mean, it does require you to have a bit of a stomach lining when it comes to the markets, because you'll be taking a lot of losses, you'll be taking a lot of profits, and you'll be very active in the market. And hesitation and stalling and all that other stuff is really going to be detrimental to the whole making profits thing. So it's always better for people to actually know that prior. So if you're a certain type of personality, then day trading definitely won't work for you. Right now, swing trading is a lot less stressful than day trading. Okay, it requires less screen time than day trading, and swing trading can actually be more profitable than day trading. I know a lot of people have this thought that the more you trade, the more active you are, um, then the more money you'll be able to make. Right? In when you try and use logic to that approach, it actually should make sense. Okay, but on the flip side, the more you trade, the more you put your funds at risk. All right. So the more you put your funds at risk, the more at risk you are of actually losing your money. Okay. So if I take two trades the entire week and both are losers, right? Then I mean I'm limited to my two losing trades. But if someone else decides, all right, let me take 10 trades. Let's just go for 10 trades. Okay. So when this person decides to go for 10 trades the entire week, what if all eight traders or eight of those 10 trades are losers and two trades actually make money? Okay. Now I'm out with my two losing trades, and trader B is out with his eight losing trades, and they only got two trades in. Okay. And one of the other things that traders really neglect when it comes to day trading is that day trading costs a lot of money in the sense that you'll be trading very often and therefore generating commissions and spreads for brokers. And I can't quite remember where I read this, but on average, the retail trader will pay about 50% of their account per year to trading costs. So let's say you had a $5,000 trading account, right? That's without any trading wins or trading losses, but you'll pay about half of your account to the broker each and every single year. So if you have $100,000 trading account, you pay 50,000 US dollars due to the fact that you're not really cognizant or aware of the commissions that you are paying. So it also comes to a point where you need to know what type of broker you need to be trading with you if you are day trading. But swing trading shouldn't be a problem that much because the profits that you are taking, right? Profits that you are taking as a swing trader should more than make up for those commissions, right? So swing traders typically you're gonna have 2 days, 3 days, up to 2 weeks at most, right? Your trades are gonna last 2 days to about 2 weeks. Okay. And of course, last and certainly not the least, position trading, right, which is basically best described as long-term investors. And I mean, they come from, let's say, a position trade would last anywhere between 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, 30 years. Okay. Now, this approach is more synonymous with stocks and commodities like your gold, your silver, and indices as well, right? Contrary to what the hype may say, right? Indices are a very good long-term investment. Actually, long indices for the long term, right? And it sort of like really gives you the best of what's available in the market. You don't need to be really sharp with trading or analysis, understanding PE ratios and all of that stuff. All of that is done for you. You just pick an index and you throw some money in that index, and yeah, you don't really need to watch it all that much, right? You will get nervous, obviously, when markets are this dangerous and things it does seem like the end of the world, panic. But I mean, it's it's sort of like what's coming, and it is expected. Things like this will happen um, every typically every 8 to 10 years. We're gonna have this sort of like correction, as I like to call it. Okay, some people call it a a crash. I just basically call it a change of taste, because I mean we've had about 12, close to 12 years, okay, of really good markets. Okay, so back to this now. what approach is actually best for you? All right. Now, this is one of the least asked questions, and it is kind of worrying because a lot of guys will spot someone doing something a certain way and think it's going to work exactly the way that it worked for them, which typically isn't the case. Typically, that's not how things happen. Now, most traders have this dream of quitting their day jobs to focus on trading, which is quite humorous because if you cannot focus while you work, you won't be able to focus when you are unemployed. Right? So if you can't focus on your trading while you still have your day job, then I mean, trust me, you lose the focus. Because when it comes to trading by yourself and you don't have anyone, let's say, to look over you or to, I mean, you're not really accountable to anyone. You can wake up when you want to. You don't wake up if you don't want to. You can watch whatever you want during the course of the day instead of analyzing the market. So it is quite a dangerous thing as a trader to have too much time on your hands. Okay? I do feel like if you still have a day job, or something that you does consume your time during the day, I mean, it's a lot better because you know that whatever 2 hours that you have, you need to sort of like make the most of it. Okay, now traders who do have a day job or things that consume them during the course of the day are better suited to swing or position trading. Because if your job clashes with open times of major market centers and you're trying to trade, let's say using what's the strategy called? London breakout strategy or something like that. And you're trying to trade that, it's going to be very difficult for you to become effective using that strategy because when the actual London market opens, you're at work filing paperwork, you know, or you're on the work PC sending emails or you making calls or whatever it is that your job requires you to do. And one thing that a lot of people will then try to do is try to squeeze trading in between whatever it is that they actually do. Okay, I tried that in the beginning, didn't work. So rather isolate your time outside your working hours, okay, for you to be able to trade with full concentration, right? Trading, just like anything that you need to become really good at, needs full concentration. You can't do work while you're working out, for example. Okay, you can't multitask like that. Okay. And trading requires a lot of concentration. Therefore, you don't really want to squeeze it in between whatever it is that you are doing. I typically say that the first sign of a professional trader is how serious they are about their trading. Okay. If you are serious about your trading, that's really the first step to becoming a pro. Because only people who consider themselves pro traders end up making profits in the market. Okay? Um, it doesn't mean that every single thing needs to be in order from the very first day. But I mean, there needs to be a gradual increase in the way in which you do things. Right? You need to improve your processes. You can't always be trading in the toilet at work or whatever the case may be. Right? You need to be sitting down. I mean, you can't be watching TV, trading, thinking trading is some sort of a side hobby, right? And once at least you define yourself as a professional trader, I've found a person who defines themselves as a professional trader actually changes their habits. I'm not sure how that happens. Okay, I know a bit about how the mind works, but that particular part, I'm not quite sure. But once a person says, "Okay, I'm an actual professional trader," and they define themselves as that, they tend to act like how a professional trader would. Okay, so I doubt we're going to have a lot of time left, so we'll just go over the basic elements of what we're going through with the strategy. Okay, so I'm just going to be doing strategy one probably for the next couple of days. So if you do have any questions about what we've covered already, now is the best time to shoot. But for the next 4 minutes or 5 minutes or so, we'll just start off with strategy one. Okay, now there are a few tools that you need to understand first. And once you have a distinct understanding of what they are and why they're important, it will be much easier. As a plumber, you have tools. Okay? I have no idea what sort of tools you'd have as a plumber, but I know you have tools. Okay. Now, if I didn't, as me, for example, I don't know what plumbers use as tools. I'd make a bad plumber at this point in time. Okay. If I take a professional plumbing course, I learn the tools, how they work, how to apply them, and if they're not working properly for that particular situation, I know to change. All right, if this house has a custom, I don't know, piping or whatever the case may be, I need to pull out this. Right. So you pick the tools that you're going to be working with, right? And those are going to be the go-to tools that you're going to use on a consistent basis, right? So in order for you to have consistent results, you sort of like have to use consistent methods for you to get to a trading decision, right? So round numbers, you're going to be going through that. Just basic candlesticks, standing basic candlesticks, moving average, as well as the Fibonacci. Okay. So those are the four elements that you can use for this strategy one. And the more sort of like understand how to apply them, the easier it's going to be for you to be able to make trading decisions. Okay. Now, there's still stuff that obviously that I cannot do with the group session, right, that I can only focus on obviously with the one-on-one session, but just do a lot of work around these four elements. Okay, I'll start probably with round numbers and probably do the candlesticks in our session tomorrow, and then the very next session we'll take a look at EMAs as well as the Fibonacci retracement tool. Okay, but in the meantime, if you do have a pen and paper, just jot down those four, or just go through to the PDF itself. Just take a look at those four, and just research a bit about whatever it is. I do think there are some videos on the YouTube channel that you can go to sort of like refresh